Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today I'll be reviewing our game against Leicester. A very frustrating and annoying 3-0 defeat on Saturday. So, obviously as I said in the last video, there's obviously an outside chance of us getting into the European places. Obviously with the potential of this week or next week, Man City's obviously ban could be put in place, meaning that obviously 8th place could be Europa League place. So obviously with how tight the league is, there's obviously opportunity for us to potentially get a European place. And as I mentioned in the last video, we're not taking advantage of that. But, I was hopeful that we would bounce back in a Leicester game. And obviously before the game I was thinking, Leicester aren't in the best form. They hadn't won a game before, well, since the season had resumed. And they weren't really in good form before the season got suspended. And I was thinking, we could do a job against Leicester. We had beat them previously. The last 2 seasons away from home at their place. And yeah, we were obviously looking to bounce back after the frustrating defeat against Burnley. And unfortunately, we didn't do that. I thought, yet again, our tactics were very poor. Benteke came back in, so at least we had a focal point up top, I thought, to help Ayew and Zaha. Riedewald came into the midfield for Kouyaté, and Sacco replaced Dan in the defence. And, I was sort of the first few minutes or the first sort of quarter of the game, I was thinking, what is our actual game plan? It didn't sort of look like we knew what the plan was. We were doing a few long balls, we were trying to pass it around. Leicester were looking more likely to score. And look, their right back Justin hit the crossbar towards the end of the first half. But all we were doing really was defending. Letting Leicester play, letting Leicester have some chances. And we weren't really doing anything. We didn't even have a shot on target in the first half. So yeah, it was pretty poor again. The only sort of positive in the first half was Riedewald. He was the only sort of player that was looking forward when he had the ball. Trying to get it up to Benteke, trying to get it out to Zaha and Ayew. But yeah, that was literally it. It was a very, very poor half from us. And Leicester were looking likely to score. And then going into the second half, it sort of carried on in the same vein. Leicester sort of attacking. We were trying to get a bit more in the game. We did have a few chances, sort of half chances, that kind of thing. But then, unfortunately, another defensive mistake or goalkeeping error happened. A good ball in from the left from Leicester. I don't know if, looking back at it on the replays, if Sacco told Guaita that he was going to clear it, or if Guaita thought Sacco was going to clear it, or if quite simply Guaita just hesitated. Because yes, the cross was put in at pace, but Guaita could have come out and got it. Got it at the feet of Iheanacho and prevented the goal from happening. All that happened was he hesitated or miscommunication in the defence, and Iheanacho couldn't miss. So we're 1-0 down on the back foot, and obviously then that puts pressure on us to come out and obviously try and play. Then obviously Hodgson made a strange decision to take Riedewald off, our only sort of midfielder that was looking forward, and bring on a defensive-minded player in Kouyaté. Maybe it was sort of match sharpness from Riedewald, I'm not too sure on that, but it did seem a strange decision from Hodgson to take our only sort of player that had been looking forward and trying to get us up the pitch off for a defensive-minded player. And yeah, then again we had a few chances. Our only real chance of the game was sort of Gary Cahill. Should have done better with a header, but that was our only shot on target. Leicester again then were pushing, trying to get their second goal. And then a defensive error from Mamadou Sakho. Why he decided to do a Cruyff turn, I'm not too sure. I thought he was going to just play it up the line or try and maybe just pass. If he had passed it back, maybe it would have still been a mistake. But I would have gone up the line, in my opinion. but he tried to do a Cruyff turn, slipped over and left Harvey Barnes for an easy sort of chance to square it across for Jamie Vardy to score. That was sort of the game done then. You see the Palace's heads had dropped, and yeah, I could tell we weren't getting anything from the game. Then yeah, we were trying to push to try and get something out of the game, and then unfortunately on the counter attack, Sakho tried to play offside even though Vardy was in our own half, and then it left Vardy with the whole of the opposition half to run into and an easy finish 1-on-1 with Guaita. So yeah, it was a very, very frustrating game. If you're a Palace fan, obviously. Poor, once again, goalkeeping error, defensive error as well with Sakho. Zaha didn't really look interested. He didn't really have a threat up top. Benteke tried to sort of hold it up and bring others into play, but whenever he did that, it didn't seem to go to a Palace player. Ayew couldn't really get in the game at all. And yeah, it was just one of those performances where you're sort of scratching your head thinking, you know, what was the point, you know, in us actually, you know, turning up? What was the point? Because it kind of looks like, in my opinion, since the season has resumed, I don't know if we just said, oh yeah, we target the Bournemouth game as the one we're going to win, and that's it, and then just don't play for the rest of the season. Because we rolled over for Liverpool, we were poor for 60, 70 minutes against Burnley before we decided to play, and then the whole game really against Leicester, we were poor again. I don't know what's going on obviously behind the scenes, but it is worrying, you know. And again, you sort of look at, you know, why was Sakho in the lineup? You know, Dan and Cahill, I think, are our best two centre backs. And unfortunately with Sakho, you sort of feel like you've got to say to him, you know, just do the dirty work, just clear it, make tackles, pass forward, don't do anything stupid, you know. But unfortunately Sakho just decides to try and do skill or something stupid, and that's unfortunately resulted in a goal today. It is, as I mentioned, frustrating because obviously with how tight the obviously table is, there's obviously outside chance for us potentially getting Europa League place, but it looks like we just throw that in the bin, unfortunately. We will see some more results yesterday. Southampton won again, so obviously they're above us. Newcastle gone above us now, so it's kind of frustrating. And it looks like our season's just going to fizzle out and we're going to finish probably about 14th, 15th. We've got, obviously, as I mentioned, a comfortable cushion over the bottom three, but it's obviously going to be a sort of an unenjoyable end to the season for a Palace fan, and yeah, sort of very frustrating, as I keep saying, and yeah, it's sort of difficult to know where we're going to go because we've got a very difficult run to the end of the season. We've got Chelsea away tomorrow, then we've got Aston Villa, we've got Man United, Tottenham as well on the last day. So, you know, obviously in Villa fighting for their lives, they'll probably be looking at that game. It's at Villa as well, thinking, yeah, Palace aren't really interested, we'll go for that one. And yeah, that's what's the most depressing thing, sort of thing. We just don't seem like we want to play at all. And, you know, as I mentioned in the last video, you know, we've got an ageing squad now, and it's becoming more and more apparent that there's got to be a massive overhaul of the squad. You know, players on big wages have got to go. Youth has got to come in, and you know, it's really got to be a discussion of where they want to take, you know, Palace as a club. You know, do we want to be a club that just, you know, gets safe and then happy with what we've got, or do they want us to be a club where we can potentially, you know, gate crash European places, you know, that kind of thing. You know, where do they want to take us as a club, you know, in the next sort of 3 to 5 years? You know, do they want to just have an experienced squad all the time and, you know, just disregard youth, or do they want to bring in youth and, you know, build the team around the youth players? You know, as I said in my last video, you know, you look at the Chelsea's, the Man United, Arsenal's as well. You know, they're bringing in youth, and look what it's doing for them. They're all in good form at the moment. And And yeah, it's a shame, especially considering we fought for our academy to get Category 1 status, which means obviously more young players are likely to choose us and try and get through our academy. But then a few youth players have been released in the last couple of weeks or so. And, you got to question, is that because they don't see a pathway into the first team? Or do you think, or is it just, Palace not wanting to sign them down because they're happy with the squad they got? And, me as a fan, I'm not happy with the squad we've got. We've got one of the oldest squad in the Premier League. Something needs to be done about that. And, we've got some good players. There's a couple of youth players that got on the bench for the last few games. Another one made his debut, Tyreek Mitchell, a young, promising left-back. He came on. Unfortunately, it wasn't in the best circumstances, with us losing. But, it's another youth player. Hopefully, he can play. I don't think he'd dislodge Van Aanholt because, he's been our first choice left-back for a while now. But, hopefully maybe give a youth a chance. If obviously the squad aren't going to play, you're not going to be really bothered. Drop the players that aren't bothered and play the youth. That's if that's what has to be done, it has to be done. But yeah, very, very frustrating game as a Palace fan. Unfortunately, I think that's pretty much it for the season. We're not gonna move up the table now. I don't really see where our next win's coming from. I don't even think we're going to beat Aston Villa. We'll be lucky to get a draw out of it the way we're playing. Because even though they lost to Liverpool yesterday, Aston Villa, they looked very good. They looked up for it. They looked like they want to stay in the league. So, if we want to go into the game at 50% like we have done for the last few games, then we're going to lose. So maybe I see a 14th, 15th finish incoming. And then obviously there'll be, reviews across the board of why, when we had a chance of potentially getting Europe, why we just bottled it basically. But yeah, it's not great really as a Palace fan at the moment. You're sort of half positive, obviously thinking about can we potentially get into Europe, and then watching the performances on the pitch, you're thinking, do they actually know? Do they want to progress their career at Palace if they want to stay there for a bit? It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, I think maybe, if it does carry on with the sort of lacklustre performances, maybe we've got to look at Hodgson. Is he the right man for the job? Have we got to get a sort of younger, more aspiring manager in to try and take us up the league? Or are they going to stick with Hodgson for a bit? Because, there are fans that are really not very happy with our performances the last 3 games. Obviously it started off so positive against Bournemouth. But then even me now, I'm looking back at that Bournemouth game and I'm thinking, yeah, we scored 2 quick goals and we were in control, but it was all Bournemouth in the second half, sorry. And yeah, even though it didn't create chances because our defence was very good, we didn't really play in the second half. And, was that a sign of things to come? Who knows? But anyway, as I said, very frustrating and poor performance. Yet again, 3-0 defeat, as I mentioned. Next game is Chelsea at home. Whether that actually makes a difference anymore with the being behind closed doors, who knows? But yeah, tough run of fixtures here in the season. Maybe we just need to get to the end of the season, see where we are. There's got to be a board meeting. See what we want to do with the squad. Do we want to get some of the older players out, get some youth players in, or try and get some academy players into the squad, and see where they want Crystal Palace to go as a club. But yeah, if any Palace fans stumble across this video, do you agree with what I'm saying? What do you think? What did you think about our performance against Leicester? What do you think needs to happen? Do you agree with me in terms of, do you think our academy players can come in for the last games? Do you think we need to bring more academy players in? Do you think we need to get some of the older players out and bring some sort of youth in from sort of the foreign leagues, or maybe even the Premier League or the Championship, that kind of thing? And what do you think the board needs to do as a whole? So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. The next video will be during the week after the Chelsea game. So yeah, that will be during the week. So please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care guys, and goodbye.